What's up? My name is Coco and I'm from Ghana.
And I'm Christopher and I'm from Nigeria.
And we'd like to welcome you back to another episode of the Coco and Chris podcast, which is a podcast for men looking to improve every aspect of their lives.
And today we'll be giving you 10 behaviors that completely destroy your masculinity.
So without any further ado, let's jump straight into the episode.
Number one is having a victim mentality. You're always whining and you're always complaining. All right, I want you to think about what pops in your mind when you think about a victim. Okay, that's somebody who is helpless in a particular situation. Not to say that that does not happen in life. Of course, all of us were victims of one thing or the other at some points in our lives.
Of course.
But imagine walking around having that mentality every single day. Like you have no control over your life. Anything that happens is always somebody on the outside of you who is to blame for whatever happens to you. You have no control. How can you be masculine if that's the kind of mindset that you have? When bad things happen, that's life. But you have to understand that even when those things happen, you have a say in how you respond to whatever negativity happens to you.
Facts.
Right? One of my mentors, Grant Cardone, says, take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. Whether it's positive, whether it's negative, whether you had a say in it or not. Why will he say something as crazy as that? Even if you get into an accident and it wasn't your fault, Grant still says take responsibility for it. And shout out to Grant for that, right? What's Grant trying to say here? What he's trying to say here to you is simple. If you take responsibility for it, what's happening is that you're taking control over your life. And as a man, you have to have control.
Period.
If you don't think you have control, then what are you here for? What's really happening? Somebody else is controlling you? You're like some kind of puppet, right? Makes absolutely no sense. When bad things happen, yes, you might be distort for a while. I get it. Maybe in your case, it might be 2 hours. Some people might be, a day. Some people might be 2 days. But you're not going to go into your room, lay down, put on some blanket, and then start crying and whining, man. That's not going to work for you. You have to be a man. Understand that, okay, yes, this bad thing that's happened. I got into a car accident. I lost some money in my business. My wife left me, all right? My girlfriend left me. Shit happens, man. But what are you going to do about it? When you take responsibility, you take control of that situation, and you are now in full control of your response to that situation. You don't whine, because how then do you think clearly if you complain and whine? Because whatever you focus on is what continues to magnify, right? But if you're focused on a solution, after you take control, now you're focused on what's the solution to what's happening to me right now. You are magnifying your mind. You put all that mind power into finding a solution, and then it will expand. Before you know what's happening, you start to come out, whether mentally, whether physically, whether financially, whatever the problem was in the first place. When you focus on finding solutions, you're getting yourself out of it. And that's only happening because now you don't have a victim mindset. You have a mindset of taking control, of taking responsibility, and then the solutions will happen. With time, obviously, right? So the next time somebody tells you, oh, it's not your fault. You are a victim in this situation. Hey, no, I'm not a victim. I'm in control. That should be your response. Get it?
Even if you're not in control, believe you're in control.
Believe you're in control.
And act as if you're in control.
Thank you, man. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. And with that, I'll let Coco give you number 2.
All right. So behavior number 2 that is destroying your masculinity, and that is being afraid to speak your mind. Now, we live in a time where women have the loudest voices, and women have been heard for a very long time. And now men have gotten their hands on one of these, right? And a lot of women are mad that the men are complaining too much, they're talking too much. But I would say it's a good thing. There is some bad to it because there are some men who are just complaining and are not solution oriented at all. But all in all, I believe that the introduction of the microphones has been a good thing for men, because now men can speak. For the longest time, women have been saying, speak your mind, express yourself, express yourself. Now men are expressing themselves. Some women are getting very upset about that, right? And I say all of this to say that suppressing your thoughts as a man kills your masculinity in a way that you can't even see. It's on such an internal level that before you realize, you have neutered and suppressed your being into something so small that you don't even recognize yourself. Because every time you really want to tell somebody your peace of mind, you hold back. Every time you hold back on telling someone what you really think, you lose credibility with yourself because you start to internalize if what you had to say was even important, right? You start to question your worthiness. Am I worthy of being heard? Should people hear my voice? And if you continue to lean into this belief of, oh, I don't want any trouble, I don't want to rock the boat, I don't want to cause any friction between anybody, you will never stand out, one, as a person. You will never stand out, one, as an individual. And two, most people will just not respect you because they will look at you as a pushover and someone who doesn't have their own mind because you never speak your mind, right? No one can read your mind. Until you voice the thoughts that are in your mind, no one will know. And until you voice the thoughts or the ideas that are in your mind, you're not going to know whether people are going to be receptive to the ideas or not. So it's not up to you to conclude that, oh, what I have to say is not important. Say it. If it's important, you will see it's important by the way people react to it. And if it's bullshit, you will see it by the way people react to it. And if you do speak bullshit, no problem. As I said in one of our previous videos, just accept that you said bullshit. Go back to the drawing board, figure out what actually is the right thing in the context of what it is that you were talking about. And if you ever are presented with another opportunity to present that information to the same people, go ahead. If not, who cares? You move on in life and you just learn to speak your mind. This is a muscle that you have to train, right? First, it's gonna feel like the voice isn't coming. It's gonna feel like, I personally went through this maybe about 10 years ago. I would wanna say something and my words would get stuck in my throat. I wanna say it, but I just can't say it. I can't explain it. It was like a physical phenomenon. And anyone who's watching this video right now who struggles to speak their mind most probably knows exactly what I'm talking about, right? So it's about just taking baby steps and starting to say no. Right? Speaking your mind, actually, the first place you can start with is by saying no to certain things. Saying no to certain people. Because now you're taking responsibility. You're taking your power back. Because if you say yes to everything, especially when you want to say no to a lot of things, you're losing credibility with yourself. So my brothers, please learn to speak your mind. Even if it feels super uncomfortable for you, please learn to speak your mind, my brothers. It will help you more than it will hurt you. Trust me. And on that note, I will pass to Chris to hit you with a third behavior.
For number 3, I think it's really important that I touch on this one. And this has got to do with having high body fat percentage. Your masculinity is directly tied to your levels of testosterone. Okay? The more testosterone you have, the more masculine you look. And with the higher body fat percentage, the more estrogen your body is producing. Now, it's the opposite with females. Okay, so that's why you see when you have, dudes are transitioning to female. I mean, they're not really women, but whatever.
To the other side.
To the other side, right? They're focusing on increasing the estrogen hormones and reducing the testosterone so they can look more female. So when you have a high body fat percentage, what's happening is that you are big, but you are not strong. You have no strength. You cannot walk without panting and feeling like you're about to die. You cannot even run, right? Not to say that there are no fat people who can run, but go ask them how they feel after running. So you want to eat proper. You want to make sure that your diet is clean. Increase the amount of protein that you take in. Eat less carbs, less sugars, less processed foods. Eat whole foods, veggies, lots of that. Brown rice, if you will even do any kind of rice. But you want to make sure that you're lean. And even when you look at those action figures like Superman, right? And even the Hulk, that image, is very well masculine, right? If Superman was a fat slub, would you subscribe to wanting to be anything like Superman? Would it even make sense that this fat slub is flying and trying to save people? Makes absolutely no sense, right? Watch what you eat. You can't just be walking around with a 20-inch stomach, all right? That's not sexy in any way. And then you wonder why women are not attracted to you. Why people don't even respect you like that, right? Because it shows that you don't have any discipline for the amount of food that you put into your body. All you have is your Ferrari, your body, right? Your house is not you. Your car is not you. You have to take care of this. If you don't have any respect for this, how can you expect other people looking at you to respect you? Makes no sense. You gotta have discipline for the type of food that you put in your body. Okay, so you don't want your masculinity being tainted by not having discipline to eat right and to work out, go to the gym, lift some weights, burn that fat. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to look like Superman. You have to be super lean like you're going in for Mr. Olympia. That's not what I'm saying. But a body fat percentage of somewhere around 15 to 20, it's okay too. But anything over that, you might be looking at some diabetes, and I'm sure you don't want that. And with that, I give Coco over to number 4.
So I'm gonna hit you guys with the 4th behavior that is destroying your masculinity, and that is being easily offended. Now, in today's world, everyone is easily offended. Everyone feels like no one can speak on anything that concerns them, but that life doesn't work like that. In the real world, people will try you. People will say things to you that are hurtful, but it's up to you to stand on your square and have the mental fortitude to not believe the negative stuff that they're saying about you. Because once you start to believe the negative stuff that they're saying about you, that's when you start getting offended. That's when you start becoming emotional. And when I say emotional, you start getting angry, you start getting upset. Then you might act out of character. You might do something that you may not be able to come back from. Because there's certain things, there's certain lines you cross, you can't come back from them, right? So as a man, you have to be extremely discerning in who you give your ears, your mind, and your heart to. Because if those people don't have your best interest at heart and you allow them to sneak into your psyche, you're gonna be offended. And in that offended emotional state, 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna be productive. You might say the wrong thing to the wrong person and further escalate the situation that you're already in. So many things can happen if you are the type of person who gets easily offended, right? So what you want to do is, if someone says something to you, look at them, ask yourself, is this someone that I respect, or is this a respectable person? Is this someone that I should let their opinion of me hold any weight in my life? If not, just look at them.
Facts.
And then just let them be on their way, because at the end of the day, lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep, right? So if you're the type to get easily offended, my brother, you need to grow tougher skin, my brother, period. There's no other way around it. You gotta grow tougher skin. You're the man, dude. You gotta grow tougher skin. And that's all I got for you on that one. I don't think there's anything I can say outside of what I've said that will add to it. But the whole bottom line is, stop being so easily offended. And sometimes you gotta serve them with what they're giving you. Most of the time, it's always better to be the bigger person. But some people, you gotta slap them in the face with what they are serving you, right? But you gotta be smart about that. You really gotta be smart about that. Because if you retaliate on the wrong person, certain people, they don't know how to let shit go. It's gonna be back and forth till someone gets hurt, right? So be discerning in that. And don't be easily offended. It will go against you in the future if you keep allowing people's words and actions to affect you and allow you to act out of character. And on that note, I'm gonna hand it over to Chris to hit you with number 5.
Number 5. I know a lot of men struggle with this one. I mean, I was lucky to not struggle with this because I always loved reality, but I'll hit you with this. It's porn addiction. I know you probably would not expect me to say that. What makes somebody addicted to porn? Especially as a man. I mean, we know that we don't have a bunch of women out there watching porn. You know, women would rather read or watch 50 Shades of Grey and stuff like that because it's all about the behavior, the psychology, you know, behind it. But we as men, we're moved by what we see, okay? And it's the easiest thing to do. It's the cop out. That 9, that 10 you see out there, you feel that you cannot approach her. So what do? You can subscribe to OnlyFans, right? It's a way in after all. Right?
Simp.
That's simp-ass behavior.
Simp.
Okay? And that mindset comes from always looking for the easy way out, the path of least resistance. That means you're not masculine. A true masculine man goes after what he wants. He's not going to sit in front of his phone on Pornhub all day, jerking off when he can be out there in real life talking to a woman. Look, I understand a lot of men struggle with this, but you have to do yourself a favor. Okay? If you can have the real deal, why do you want something virtual? Now, you may not be able to get that 9 right now. You may not be able to get that 10 right now, but why don't you start with the 4 or the 5? And as you get used to them, you work your way up. Because I tell you now, most women are very, very similar. I know the 10 might look like she's the most beautiful thing in the world, but she probably says the same thing as the 4 or the 5. And beauty is subjective. Somebody might look at Halle Berry right now and be like, back in her prime, and be like, man, she's a 10. And somebody else looks at that and said, man, she's a 6.5. Right? Because beauty is subjective. But you have to start from where you are right now. I know there's some cute girls that are around you. Say hi. Approach them. Let them know exactly what you want from them. You want to be friends? I'm sure that's not the truth. You want a relationship? You want to have fun? Whatever it is that's here, say it. Speak your mind. Which is what Coco was just saying previously.
Speak your mind.
It's a muscle that you need to build. Okay? It doesn't matter if what you're saying makes sense to other people. If it makes sense to you, that's what's most important. If you find out later that, oh man, I was talking a bunch of bullshit, it is what it is. At least you learn from it. And you leave it in the past. You move on to something else, right? Sitting, I don't know how y'all do it, man. Sitting down with your phone, watching porn all day, jerking off. Come on, man.
All day, bro.
Come on, man. Really? That's what you're doing? You gotta stop that thing. And it's one of the most dangerous addictions in the world.
Yep.
Worse than alcohol.
Worse than crack.
Worse than crack. Porn addiction. Dangerous. What that does to your psyche is you will never be able to approach women. Do you know that? It damages your mindset. You will forever see beautiful women that you're attracted to, but you are never going to say anything because you can always run back like a little sissy on your phone and go watch.
Back to the porn.
Back to the porn. It's the easy way out, right? The path of least resistance, because you don't want to get rejected. And here's the thing about rejection. It doesn't really exist. And I'll tell you why. There's two things that can happen when you approach a woman or you approach anyone with whatever proposal that you have in mind. There are the people who are going to agree to hear you out, and there's some people that no matter how nice it is, whatever it is that you have to say, they don't want to hear it. As good as a Ferrari is, not everybody loves a Ferrari.
True.
It's a beautiful car, but not everyone loves a Ferrari.
Some people prefer a Rolls Royce.
Some people prefer a Rolls Royce. And there's some people who see a Rolls Royce and be like, oh my God, this is too big. It just is what it is. So rejection does not really exist. If somebody rejects you, that's God's protection. Shout out to Miles Cunningham for that one. Rejection is, he would say, rejection is God's protection. So when somebody rejects you, man, it's all good. It just means that that's not the right person for you. Okay, so instead of sitting down there, wasting your life watching porn, go out, speak to people, build a social circle. Don't say, oh man, I don't have any friends. Go make some friends. Go out, speak to strangers. Get to talking to people. My mentor, Grant, his daughter, speaks on stage with thousands of people and she's only 14. And she's been doing this since she was probably 8 or 9, right? You need to learn how to relate with people. Go out there, build a life. Those people who are out there building a life, having relationships with women are not spending their time on the phone watching porn and getting addicted to watching people have sex on the camera. That's just sick, man. That's my 2 cents for you. I don't know if Coco's got anything to add to that.
Actually, I have a lot to add. I don't want to stay too long because this is Chris's point. This is Chris's area. But porn damages your brain.
Thank you.
Porn messes up how you view women. You start to view women as objects instead of people.
That's absolutely true, man.
Porn kills your masculinity because you're essentially throwing away your life force if you're jacking off consistently, right? Every time you bust a nut, that's like you run 100 meters. So if you bust 5 times in a day, assume you ran 500 meters, but without actually running 500 meters, which means you didn't get the dopamine spike, you didn't get the endorphin spike, you didn't get the muscle fatigue and the muscle build that will come after the muscle fatigue. You're not going to get all of that. All you're going to get is the cheap dopamine hit in your brain, and that's it. And your brain is going to fiend for more and more and more, and you're going to be depleting yourself more and more and more. How do I know this? Because many men struggle with this. There are groups on Reddit, on Facebook. There are porn recovery coaches. God damn it.
It's that crazy.
There's porn recovery coaches because this thing is a real phenomenon that is killing the masculinity of men in today's world. Never before in the history of humanity has the average man had access to so many beautiful women at the push of a button, right? Men were not supposed to be overly stimulated by feminine beauty like that, which is why back in the day, covering up was a thing. Women covering up was a thing, and there was a reason for that, because men were so visual. Now we're so desensitized because we see women's body parts every single day. Back then, dudes were losing their minds off seeing a woman's just her legs.
Her legs, man.
Right?
Her shins.
Right. Back then, the dudes, she takes off her glove. They're losing their minds, man. So, my brothers, the porn, trust me, like Chris said, he's been fortunate. I haven't been so fortunate. I have struggled with this in the past as well. If you grew up during millennial times, you had internet at a young age, you found some websites, man. You found some websites. And if you didn't have the right guidance, you just keep falling in, and you just keep watching worse and worse shit because your tolerance for your dopamine spike keeps going up and up and up, and before you know it, you're some messed up pervert guy because you've conditioned yourself to get off some psycho type shit, right? Anyway, so before I get into number 6 behavior that is destroying your masculinity, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with anyone that you believe can get value from this. Don't be a hoarder, man. Let's make men great together, brother. So let's dive into number 6. All right, so number 6 behavior that is destroying your masculinity, and that is being too vulnerable. So in the men's self-development space, a lot of people preach to not be vulnerable at all, right? But personally, I don't believe in that. I think there is a certain strength in vulnerability. If you know how to project your vulnerability from a place of strength, you can be vulnerable from a place of victimhood, which is very, very unattractive and no one wants to be around. But if you can admit that you're going through something, but in your admission to going through something, you are showing strength, grit, and resilience, it's respectable. And you know the most interesting thing? You are going to respect yourself the most when you get through whatever it is that you are going through that made you vulnerable, right? So don't buy into this idea that being vulnerable is completely weak. I don't believe so, right? Because you're human at the end of the day. You're not a robot. But being overly vulnerable, being too vulnerable, especially if you have a woman, being too vulnerable with your woman, every little thing, you're going to her, oh, I'm going through this happened at work, Kofi did this, Chioma did this, Davido did this, Odumodo Black did this. I don't know if I said his name right, but yeah. Right, you get my point. You just come off weak. It's just weak. It's like, dude, just can't you fix your shit?
Exactly.
They're just gonna look at you like, yo, can't you?
That's the mindset. Yeah?
Right? You're there thinking, oh, but I'm going through something. Can't you see I'm a human being? But my bro, you're a man at the end of the day. Much is expected from you, like we always say. So even though you want to cry, dude, if you want to cry, go hide in some bathroom and cry, bro. If that's what you want to do, go hide in the bathroom, cry. Go hide under some bed and cry. When you're done, wipe your tears, come and stand stoic, stand firm, and be a man. Because at the end of the day, no one respects an overly vulnerable man. It's just not respected. As much as people say, oh yeah, especially women. Women today say, oh, we love a man who's vulnerable. We want to see you cry. There's this agenda to persuade men to cry all the time, and men should be feminine and in their feminine emotions and all these things. But these things do not serve men. These things emasculate you as a man. They make you less and less and less of a man. If you're always running to your female counterpart, your female friends, even your friends, right? Even your male friends, every day crying, and the girl did like this to me, and this and that, and she didn't mind, she rejected me. Bro, it gets tiring, man. No one wants to be around a negative Nancy. And if you're too vulnerable, that means you don't have much control over your emotions. And most of the time, those emotions tend to be negative because not a lot of people are super vulnerable when they're feeling so happy and positive. It's not an energy of vulnerability, of weakness, of meekness. It's an energy of expansion, of joy, of positivity, right? So do not buy into the hype of being overly vulnerable with the people in your life, especially with the females in your life, because they don't respect that shit. That's just what it is. They'll tell you that it's cool, encourage you to do it. They might even do, oh, don't worry, oh, give you a handkerchief to wipe your tears. But as all of that is happening, she's clamming up, bro. She's clamming up. I don't want to get into details, but if you know, you know. She's clamming up.
You know, attraction is gone.
Right? She's clamming up, and eventually she's just going to lose respect for you. You know these shows where we have the women popping the
Balloons.
when the guys come up. There was this guy, one of the shows, this guy came up and they asked him some question about what was one of the hardest things that he went through. And he talked about losing
a friend.
Yeah, losing his
saw
really
that
good
one.
friend. Yeah, losing a really good friend of his. And dude started tearing up on set. All the girls consoled him, right? And after, they all popped their balloons.
Right.
because it's just weak. And women are attracted to strength. And they are repulsed by weakness. So, my brother, I'm going to end the point by saying this. Stop being overly vulnerable. If you want to be vulnerable, learn to be vulnerable from a place of strength, which means you are going through something, you have figured out a solution, but you are just venting in a constructive way.
To teach people the process that you went through to come out of that situation and become successful. So that is being vulnerable through strength.
Exactly, right? Exactly. I couldn't have said it any better. So, on that being said, Chris will hit you with number 7.
All right, so number 7, really interesting one. This morning I was watching a video on Instagram and I saw this really famous American rapper from Atlanta. His name is Gunna. I'm sure many of you know him.
Yeah,
Right? He had like about 6 or 7 bodyguards around him, right? And he was wearing a skirt, man. Yo, that is not fashion for men, okay? I know I see a lot of celebrities doing it, wearing some things that look like high heels. Guess what? Gunna had 6, 7 celebrities around. I mean, not celebrities, bodyguards around him, right? I'm just imagining Gunna's people doing an interview of bodyguards, and I'm imagining 20 candidates walking in wearing skirts. Interviewing to be Gunna's bodyguard. If Gunna walked in and saw his people doing the interview and he sees all these guys, big dudes, wearing skirts, he himself will say, do not hire any one of those bodyguards. Why? Because he knows it's not even masculine. He himself knows, right? Don't be one of these dudes who just sees trends on social media and you just be this bandwagon kind of dude that just hops on it. What do you think about it? Don't you have your own mind? Like, how do you feel about it? Don't say people are doing it and they're celebrities, so it must mean it's okay. No, you have your own mind. You're an individual yourself, okay? I don't want to see all those. No. If you think it's cool, I hope not, but fine.
If you think it's cool, fine. You want to be...
But it should not be because you saw Rema wearing something like that. You saw...
Lil Uzi.
Right now, Lil Uzi is carrying Birkin bags. Will you do that? He wears lipsticks right now. Will you do something like that? Right? So you gotta have your own mind.
Right. Unless you want to be a feminine man. If you want to be a feminine man, I mean, do you?
Man,
if you want to be masculine.
If you want to be masculine, look, this channel is for dudes who are looking to be masculine, discover who they are as a true masculine man. Okay? This is not for you if you're trying to play for the other side. God bless you, go do your thing. But this platform is to help men become masculine men. Okay? That's what we do here. So if you're doing something else, God bless you. We're not here to discriminate or anything like that. You go do you. Alright? But this is what we're trying to do here on this platform. Makeup for men, it's a no-no. Wearing skirts, high heels, any of all these things, this is not masculine, man. It does not signify strength.
No, it doesn't.
There's no bandwagon stuff going on here. Alright? We want men to think for themselves. All right?
Use your brain.
Use your own brain. Decide for yourself. What do you think? Even this information we're giving you, we still expect you to process the information and see where it benefits you. All right? This is not information that you just take and you just follow it. No, we want you to actually process the information and see if it makes sense.
Use your own discernment.
Use your own discernment. If it makes sense for you, go ahead and do it. But the way you present yourself to the rest of the world actually tells us what's going on inside of you. Right? If men have not been wearing skirts all the years that you've seen men, and men that you've looked up to and you've respected, why start now? What is it that you're trying to portray to the rest of the world? What image? Because everything you do is a statement, right? Whether you are actually speaking or not, you're communicating something. Mm-hmm. So when you put on those things, ask yourself, what message is it that you're trying to give? Right? Because obviously you've already made some type of conclusion in your mind, right? For that to be acceptable to you. Now, when you put it on, you're making a statement. What statement is that? And if you're okay with that, then God bless you with that, man. But we're here to tell you, if you want to look masculine, if you want to be respected, by men, women, everybody. You're not going out there putting on makeup. You're not going out there wearing skirts or wearing high heels. Well, that's just my own take on that, man. So, the penultimate one. Many dudes do not know this one, Coco, right? I know you've been thought.
I think they know, but they just ignore it. But
go
into it.
All right, but I think many of you have been raised to think being a knight in shining armor for a woman is the way to get a woman. Putting women on a pedestal. Look, I know what I'm saying because I've been there. I've been that guy. I've been you.
We've all been there.
We've all been there, right?
We were conditioned that way anyway. So
exactly. And when you hear putting women on a pedestal, it comes in even the most minuscule ways. And the way this happens, it happens in like the really smallest ways, okay? Many of you have been told that women play hard to get, okay? But I want you to understand this right now. That is the biggest scam ever in this world. Women do not play hard to get. If they like you, they like you. If they don't like you, they don't like you. All right? So you're dealing with a girl. She shows you clearly that she's not interested, and you continue to pursue, right? That is putting her on a pedestal. When you go out of your way to do things for a woman who does not deserve anything, you're only doing it because you think she's beautiful, and she's beautiful just because she exists as a human being, that is putting her on a pedestal. I cannot count, Coco, the amount of times, I've been in conversations with women and then they tell me stuff like what guys have done that have placed them on a pedestal. I actually had one chick tell me, you will not believe that. I think I had this conversation with you a while back, that while she was in the university, she actually had a guy pay for an entire tuition for like 3 to 4 years and basically got nothing in return. Nothing,
man. It's crazy.
And if you don't know, this is simping. It's a form of simping. Anything that you do with the intention to get a woman to like you is simping.
Period.
If the reason why you go to a gym is because you want to look buff, you want to be shredded, just so that you can get more chicks, that is simping.
Because you're putting her above you.
You're putting her above you.
Right.
And when you do this, it's not attractive.
She just can't respect this.
She can't respect. Look, you can have $100 million. You put a woman on a pedestal, not going to change anything. Yes, she's going to be there. She's going to like the Lamborghini. She's going to like the life. Of course, women love safety and security. So she's going to be there. She's going to enjoy it. But she's not going to respect you. And here's the thing. We as men, we know when women don't really like us.
Yep, we do.
We can tell. Because when she's with a dude that she likes, she wants to do a lot for him. But when she's with you, so where are we going to eat this weekend? I want this bill paid. I like this handbag.
Get it for me.
Get it for me. I want to go on this trip. So when it comes to you, it's always resources that she wants. She wants to extract resources from you. But when it comes to the guy that she has high interest in, she's seeking ways to add to his life. A lot of times, you think you have to do more to get a woman's affection, but that could not be further from the truth. You cannot stop a woman when she really likes you. She will go way beyond what your mind can even conceive.
Yep.
If a woman really likes you, you can't even get rid of her.
Yep, there's no shame in a woman's game.
There ain't no shame in the game. You can't get rid of her.
No shame.
She'll be stuck to you nonstop. We hear so many of these stories. Why are we hearing these stories now? Because we are on the other side. Because if we were simping, there's no way she's going to be telling us those stories, though. They ain't going to tell us.
No.
Because it's going to make you feel bad because you're in that category.
Yep, yeah. She's not going to tell you, man.
No, she's not going to tell you none of that.
She'll tell you, I'm not that type of girl.
Please,
That's what she'll say.
share some examples about, putting women in the pedestal.
She'll say. Okay, so example, over complimented, right? You dudes who, you're out with a girl. I mean, she's pretty, right? It's okay to compliment a girl, but like a lot of you come from this place of you compliment looking for some kind of reaction.
Thank you very much.
Right?
That's it.
And that's essentially putting her on a pedestal because you're looking for her to validate you, right? So you essentially are not complimenting her for her. You're complimenting her for you, right? So if you get a good reaction, then you feel good about yourself because, oh yeah, I made her feel good with that compliment, right? But you should want to give the compliment because you want to give the compliment. It's genuine, it's from your heart. Oh, you look really pretty today. Oh, I love your earrings. Oh, this necklace, where'd you get it? It makes your face glow, right? Real stuff, like all this generic, oh, you're so beautiful. I'm so proud to be in your presence. Like, dude, what are you, a peasant and she's the princess? Right? Like you should behave as if you are on the same level. Or if not, maybe you may be on a higher level than her. But what I do know is women just can't respect men that believe that they are beneath them. And if you act like that, you are showing her that you are beneath her. So she will treat you accordingly, right? I think that's the only example I can give. There's many other examples, but that's the only one that's coming to my mind right now. So, Chris, do you have one to give?
There's many other examples. Like, I met a dude, and I'm not gonna say his name because I don't want
no names.
We're not gonna do that here, right? I don't want to make it seem like I'm calling him out. He just recently realized that 99% of the women he's been talking to don't like him. And when I say don't like him, because he had a conversation with me, he realized that he's been overcompensating to keep women around. And
Bad place to be.
And when you find that that's the case, you've been putting women on the pedestal.
Period.
There's no two ways about it.
We don't want anyone to misconstrue this message like, oh, like, yeah, don't respect women. No, we're not talking, it's not respect, right? This is about putting people above you. In this case, we're talking about women, right? Why should you put a woman that you barely know above you when you don't know her? She doesn't finance your bills. She's not going to do anything for you because she doesn't know you, right? So you don't know her. She doesn't know you, but you seem to think that she's here and you're here. Why is that? It means there's a flaw in your thinking, right? So you need to examine yourself and ask, why do I believe that this girl who you don't know shit about is better than me? You really need to ask yourself, is it because of what social media has told you? Is it because of what you listened to when you were growing up? Is it because of something someone said to you when you're growing up that kind of killed your self-esteem, right? Because that happened to me when I was a kid. But as I grew up, I realized that, that thing that person said to me actually affected me, and I was able to root it out and pull that belief out. And I was like, this thing is a lie. It's not true about me. So I threw it out. Right? But let's get back to the topic. Why do you believe that women are better than you? Because we're all human beings at the end of the day. All of us shit stinks. We all have bad morning breath. A lot of us get those crusty things on our eyelashes, right? A lot of people don't look the best when they first wake up in the morning. So why do you think that this person who is a human being like you, who shit stinks like you, who has bad morning breath like you, is better than you? Why? You need to ask yourself that.
You must obviously think that it doesn't affect you in some way because you've done it for so many years and you've been able to get your way with the girl maybe 60 or 70% of the time. But the end does not justify the means. Okay? You wouldn't say that it's okay to go rob people just so you can make money. Alright? You're not going to go get into nefarious activities just to be able to make some money. And you're not going to go do stupid stuff on YouTube just to make some money, right? So when you're dealing with women, the same principle applies. How you get with the woman also matters as well. If you're tricking and simping, what you're doing essentially is killing your own confidence on a subconscious level. Mm-hmm. And then the more you do it, you're telling yourself that I am not good enough. So I have to find this thing on the outside of me to help complement me so that I can be on her level. And that's the reason why you're doing what you're doing. And I'm telling you that you are valuable as you are. Mm-hmm. God made you valuable. It's not the money that makes you valuable. It adds to it. Mm-hmm. Right? It's not the car that makes you valuable. It adds to it. Mm-hmm. God made human beings and man made all these other things. So there's no way you can tell me that God's creation is no less important than man's creation. It makes no sense.
How? That's crazy.
Respect people as a whole. Respect women, but do not place them on a pedestal.
It doesn't serve you and doesn't serve them.
It doesn't serve them either. Because at the end of the day, they will keep you around because they can extract resources from you. But you will know that she does not genuinely have real interest in you. And that's why you're having all these fights and arguments with your girl, because she doesn't even like you and you don't even really know it. Some people are in marriages today with women who don't even like them. Mm-hmm. But they don't know it. They go into counseling every week, every quarter. right? Trying to make it work. It's not going to work.
Because she don't like you.
Because she don't like you.
From the jump.
You can't pray about something like that. If somebody doesn't like you, they don't like you. There's nothing you can do about it. Think of the people that you don't like. Do you all of a sudden like them? Even if they throw that money at you, you're not all of a sudden just gonna be like, oh my God, now I just love you so much. That's not how it works. So you need to be really careful about that. Coco and I are gonna expand on this episodes.
We need to do a full episode.
Yeah, we probably need to do a full episode on this topic, because a lot of you are tricking and simping and you don't know it. And I am qualified to say this because I've been there. That has been the way that I thought that I was supposed to go. And looking back on it right now, I see that I spent a lot of time with women who didn't really like me, man. Because you find out that the girls who really like you, you can't get rid of them.
I mean, if you want to get rid of them, you get rid of them.
They're not gonna let you.
I see what you're saying.
They're not gonna let you.
I see what you're
because
saying.
they're just that interested in you, right? There's a lot of talk on the internet about Pookie and Ray Rays. Forget about all that. They just really like those guys. I know you think, oh, those guys, what do they have going for them? It's not about that.
They just like them.
They just like them. It's not about what does he have going on for him. He's broke. That doesn't count. You could have $100 billion. It's not gonna save you. If a woman don't like you, she don't like you. She's gonna tolerate you. She's gonna take money from you. She's gonna use you. She's gonna abuse you. But that's not gonna make her suddenly like you, man. And with that, I'll give Coco number 10 to finish this off.
All right, guys. So yeah, that was a long one because it's something we're really passionate about. It's something that's a real problem in today's society, because pedestaling women, it ruins your confidence, and also it ruins a woman's perspective and her standards as to what she expects of a man, right? Because if you come in doing the most and you don't even know her, she's thinking, okay, yeah, this is how a dude who likes me is supposed to come. If he's not coming like this, he's not coming correct. And because of that, she will miss out on solid dudes who would have taken her serious, who could have made her life much easier, because she's believing that any dude who's not coming out the gate doing all these backflips and bringing all these flowers and trying to pay her rent and just sending her mobile money, if you know what mobile money is, when you just met her, and all this shit, right? And I know some girls sitting somewhere watching this will say, if you're broke, just say so. But that's not even the case. It's not about being broke. Listen, if I was worth $1 billion, right, I'm still not gonna just give my money to someone who doesn't deserve it. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. Right now, it's not even about man or woman. It's about merit. Do you deserve it or not? What have you done to earn this, right? Oh, just because you're beautiful? Not in my world. Doesn't work that way. Which leads me into the 10th point, which is entitlement, right? So this whole pedestaling women thing, it creates entitlement in women. That's why we have so many entitled women, because a lot of you dudes out there, especially you dudes who be scamming out there, who got all this illegal money, are just throwing this money at these girls, and it's kind of ruining them, because they're thinking, okay, yeah, this is how I'm supposed to be living, and they set a new standard, and after some time, no one is able to meet their standard, and they keep growing and growing and growing. Before they know it, they're 45 and they're talking about, I'm never gonna settle. When no one's even checking for you at 45 like that, right? I mean, if you keep yourself healthy as a woman and you're going to the gym and shit, I mean, some guys will find you interesting, but trust and believe most men are not really checking for women who are 45, because they know that comes with a whole bunch of baggage. That's just what it is, right? So back to entitlement. Entitlement is simply believing you deserve something that you've not earned. You haven't worked for it. You haven't done shit, essentially, but you believe you deserve it because you deserve it, right? And as a man, you cannot afford to have an entitled mindset. No one owes you anything. God doesn't owe you anything. Your parents don't owe you anything. That woman down the street that you went to talk to, that you're thinking, oh yeah, she doesn't submit, doesn't owe you shit, because she don't know you.
She don't know you from nowhere.
Right? You do have to prove yourself to a female that you talk to a business partner or a potential business partner that you want to work with, to a client that you like to provide service. You have to prove yourself, right? But not from a space of being needy, but from a space of knowing your value, right? From a space of having the confidence in your abilities, from a space of understanding who you are on such a deep level that anyone who refuses to see your value, you understand that they're kind of losing out, but it's cool, right? You don't act entitled. You don't throw tantrums because you're not getting your own way, because in life you won't get your own way all the time. In fact, I believe 90% of the time you won't get your way in life. That's just what it is, right? Because at the end of the day, you're not a woman, you're a man. And even women don't get most of what they want. right? Unless they listen to Sprinkle Sprinkle and they're dealing with like simps and tricks who have no boundaries, no backbone, and are willing to just
bend over
backwards and do whatever it takes to keep a woman who's not even really interested
in that at all.
Right? So you need to kill the entitled mindset. It's not gonna serve you. If anything, it's gonna zap you and make you think that you don't have to work hard. It's gonna make you think that, yeah, you're hot shit and things should just be thrown your way. Opportunities should just be thrown your way. Women should just be throwing their bras and panties your way. People should bow down to you when you're walking. Like, you develop this kind of God complex. You think you're better than everyone else. And to some degree, it's good to believe you're better than everyone else, but from a space of humility, from a space of entitlement, though, it's just cringe. Everyone just looks at you like, who the frick does this person think he is? Right? And you don't want to be that person who people are looking at crazy.
I'm just going to touch on something, that just popped in my mind. Like, that entitlement mentality also stems from not being grateful.
Yeah.
For what you have.
Yeah.
For not being grateful for the life that God has given you. Because if you were grateful for that, and grateful for the roof that you have over your head, and grateful for everything that you have, it will be so difficult
to be entitled.
Yeah. Because gratitude means you understand that it's the things that you have, even though you might have worked hard for it, there's still an element of luck, blessing, whatever you want to call it. The life you have, you didn't create it, right?
It's not even yours.
It's not even yours. Right? So if you have a heart of gratitude, that way you can eliminate any sense of entitlement, because you're grateful for the little things that you have. You're grateful in little, you're grateful in much. I think it was Christ that said it somewhere in the scripture. I think we even talked about that previously, that he who is faithful in little will also be faithful in much.
Yep. Simple. Can't skip the steps.
You can't.
You can't be entitled. Right? You just can't, right? I don't know what else to say about this entitlement stuff, but as a dude, as a person in today's society, you're not owed anything. No one owes you anything. Yeah. So all this, I deserve this, and all these women talk about I deserve this, and all these dudes in the soft boys, soft men era movement, whatever, talking about drizzle, I deserve this and this and like no one owes you shit. Like, really and truly, no one owes you nothing. And the sooner you get this into your head, the better it will serve you. Because when you understand that no one owes you shit, you will take personal responsibility to get the things that you want out of life. Because no one is going to give them to you. Right? So on that note, this is where we're going to end the video. Chris, is there anything you want to say?
I'd like to say thank you guys for watching. And if this is the first time that you're watching this video, we want to welcome you to the Coco and Chris podcast. We want you to like this video if you got any value from it. We also like you to subscribe, and please share this video with your friends, anyone that you think will benefit from the information that's here. We didn't get here by not going through the entire process for over 20 years now, right?
Almost 20 years.
Almost 20 years, right? But we want you to get this information, and we want you to process it. You don't have to go through the amount of time that we went through. That's why we're here. We're here to help you. And if you get any value from this, share it with your friends. Share with anyone who you believe will benefit from this video. Even from those who you don't even like. Just still share it with them.
Your enemies.
Right? Your enemies, I guess.
Share with your enemies.
Yeah, share with as many people as you can. And we want you to stay tuned for the next couple of videos that will be coming out. We're going to be releasing banger after banger, right? And that's a promise that we're making to you. And with that, I say that it's peace and love. And then we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace out.